Bansu Fuji. You know that song? Those are some of you know that song. I don't know any of the songs very well, but I love Adewale Ayuba. Adewale Ayuba is a musician, a Fuji musician out of Nigeria. He was reigning back in the early to mid 90s. He's an evergreen musician. He's still very active in the game of Fuji music. He was the he was the graduate that came out and added the educational edge, the educated man edge to Fuji music back in the 90s, you know. So, but he's in the news. It's in the news. He was rumored to have been divorced last week, and I wanted to talk about it real quick, you know. Real pa pa pa. So there's a news that was published here on the Nation. On the Nation, veteran Fuji musician Adewale Ayuba has dismissed an online report alleging divorce and a paternity dispute with his wife, Azuka Ego. You guys remember what's his name? Akimi. That story that Akimi till tomorrow. The modern traditional man are still giving the examples of Akimi. You know Akimi, if you remember Akimi's story, Akimi's mother, you know, the story, the rumored story, which they debunked, but then they still carry the story like it's truth. And if a lie goes long enough, right, it becomes the truth. That's the truth, guys. I just told you the truth. If they keep telling a lie and if it's going long enough, it will become the truth eventually. You know, so for those of you that think truth is this stagnant thing that stays forever, it depends on what you mean by the truth anyway. But that's the power of the media, you know. And I think that's why he's debunking these rumors. But good luck with that. So I will help him debunk it. But there's a lesson that I want to retrieve out of this. So if you remember Akimi, the story was that the young man signed all of his properties under the mother's name. So by the time the lady was trying to divorce him, she didn't get access to anything. And then they were like, right? And then they were like, yeah, that's how you do it, right? Yeah. So it was debunked at the time. I showcased it here that doesn't make any sense because there's too many technicalities that just wouldn't make it make sense. Plus, even if you put it on somebody else's name, if a good lawyer, if there's enough interest, good money, they can come after all of that and still take it. All they need is to prove that you had ulterior motive, right? And if there's enough money, enough interest, they will come after it. So the same thing I say about prenups. Prenup is good. You know, if you have assets to protect, significant enough, you know, what is significant? I don't know. Whatever is significant for you, sure, go ahead and protect it. But they crack prenup open all the time. Okay? And contrary to even cracking prenup open, sometimes it's the person that signed the prenup that want to retain it that way because they want to be unfair. And then the judge will say, no, we need to crack it open. And sometimes it's the person you're trying to, you know, you're trying to crack it open so that they can make it more unfair. And the judge will say, no, we're going to keep it exactly that way. What's the point? When you both don't share pencil, don't share eraser. The only way to protect yourself is to work on yourself so that you don't attract toxic relationships. That's the best way to protect yourself. You should still do those things, but the limitations are financial and technical in nature. But this place, that one where they hurt the most, that heartbreak, yeah, there's no amount of money you keep away that's going to protect it. So while we're talking about Adewale Ayuba, so veteran musician Adewale Ayuba has dismissed an online report alleging divorce and a paternity dispute with his wife Azuka Ego. So they've taken this news, they run with it. They said the rumor was about the wife. They found out that the child is not theirs, and you know it's not now sulking up somewhere, and it's very sad. But Adewale Ayuba is coming out in a statement posted on Instagram. Ayuba's management described the claims as unfounded and baseless, stressing that the couple has been happily married for over 30 years. So Nigerians in general now, including a lot of women, they are obsessed over the paternity fraud and DNA testing thing. And I can see they're trying to use that to solve for another problem entirely. Okay, there are many reasons why there might have been paternity fraud. They do steal babies from the hospital too, by the way. Okay, some people do promotion for loto. Some people do give another person's child for another person. Okay, as in betrayal, pure betrayal. For years, some people do that, but some people's babies are also stolen. I mean, come on, think about it. In a society where stealing organs and things like that, come on, anything is possible, right? But of course, the only reason why most people are talking about this is because of their heartbreak. That's all they can think about. There's no other reason in this world why things like that will happen. So, of course, anytime they see a news of paternity fraud, they get super excited, not to protect people's babies from being stolen, but to protect their heart from being broken. It's confusion. Who am I sure? The family condemned the report as a cheap attempt to smear Ayuba's reputation. Hold on. Smear Ayuba's reputation and ridicule their unity, vowing not to let the attack on his integrity go unchallenged. They categorically denied any truth to the paternity scandal, branding it a fabrication and highlighted the blogger's error in claiming their marriage lasted only a year. A mistake they said further exposed the story's falsehood, right? So at the very minute, you're going to find out, is he married? Is he married? No, he was a musician for the longest, right? So if you don't look long enough, you won't see a picture of him and his wife. But the picture of him and his wife, if you do small research, they're actually available everywhere. But, you know, back in the days, musicians, actors, actresses, they didn't showcase their significant other because they wanted to sell them as single for as long as possible if they started their career that way, right? So, but if you also, a lot of people in my local area in New Jersey also know Ayuba because he actually spent some time I think he lived in the US for a while. He was spending a lot of time here for a while before Afrobeat started blowing up again, and then he spent more time in Nigeria now. I don't think he ever left Nigeria like that anyway. So, but I know that he's more likely a US citizen. He spent time around here. The statement reads, "Hello everyone, our attention has been drawn to a baseless and malicious story circulating." Okay, this story makes outrageous claims about an alleged divorce from Dr. Ayuba's wife, Mrs. Azuka Ego, Saliu Okiola Ni Quinto. That doesn't sound like a Yoruba name. And a completely unfounded scandal regarding the paternity of their children, suggesting he broke his silence over some non-existing discovery. We want to state this clearly and categorically to everyone who supports Dr. Adewale Ayuba. There is absolutely no truth, not a single iota, in this cooked up story. Anyway, here's the lesson, guys. Let me stop. The lesson is very simple. If you find yourself obsessing over all this crazy paternity fraud, DNA story, narcissistic content, love bombing content, it's time to self-reflect. Yeah, it's time to self-reflect. I'm intentionally doing some of this content and making them as fun as possible, covering them from a standpoint of trending and celebrity stories, because I want you all to kind of calm down, because what you're looking for is inside of you already, you know. But oftentimes we're obsessed with pointing fingers, and we'll go to any extent and any kind of sensationalized story that will align with what we already think. It just makes it get worse and worse and worse. And unfortunately, social media is helping to propagate anything that's negative in nature. Will go faster, further, potentially become the truth later on, because it's just what it is, right? So even if he files a lawsuit for defamation right now, how far is that going to go? Furthermore, this reckless blogger stated their marriage lasted only 1 year. Okay. So all they needed to do is ask questions. So a bunch of bloggers now, a bunch of them are going to get shut down eventually. It's just inevitable. It's going to happen because people are going to get their reputation hurt and they're going to fight. So you should expect more and more of that. Myself, we don't want to calm down. Fina, same here. Happy Independence Day, everyone. Happy Independence Day, Nigeria people. Good evening to you, Fina. All right, so let's move on. We have some other trendy stories. Let's be calming down, though. You know, whatever you see is trending fast and fast and fast, it's a good chance it's a lie. There's a good chance there's some truth to it, and the truth to it is powerful enough to get you locked down, especially if you have other things you have to worry about at a personal level that you can relate with the trendy story. So I'm not surprised that this story was going viral, but I'm not surprised that he's debunking it. But good luck. But this one is another story straight in the butter. All right, guys, let's move on to some other stuff. I've got some more stuff to cover here, and I'll be right back.
This is Ola, man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number One Red Flag. Yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.